Hello again, everyone. It's good to have you with us for this event. It figures to be an exceptional one that doesn't need any build-up.
What's up, gals and pals? It's your boy Vino Valentino, and welcome back to 60-Second Cocktails. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the YouTube PubCrawl, and nobody is more excited than I am to have this man, the hottest thing on YouTube. I guess the Justin Bieber of the bartender, YouTube bartenders. This guy is so hot. He is flaming hot. My man, Anders Erickson. My man, Anders, say hello to the audience.
Hello, audience. How is everyone?
All right, awesome, man. Anders,
watch me talk to Vino.
Anders, man, listen, man, thank you so much for being on, brother. Like I said, you are smoking hot right now and well-deserved. I mean, I said it the minute I saw you, bro. I'm like, this guy's got something. The minute people catch on, they're gonna fall in love with the guy, and it's happening. And I mean, I imagine that right now your head's kind of spinning, because
yeah, I appreciate that, Vino. I really do.
It's a thing.
Yeah,
man.
no, it's this whole world is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's bananas, brother. It's bananas. But we'll dig into that. We'll dig into that soon. The first thing we do though is rule number one. What are you drinking? I got myself a little revolver here. What are you having?
I have got the casino cocktail, and these are
nice.
According to your specs on your video, actually.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah, this is actually my second go at it. I had to tweak it, get it just right to the way I wanted it. I wanted to try to do the whole 60-second thing that you do, and if you want to check it out, I think you should have access to it there. I sent it over to you.
Really? Oh, hold on.
But yeah, see what.
Let me see my email here. All right, here we go, brother. All right, folks, look at this. A first time on the YouTube PubCrawl, I got someone doing the 60-second cocktail challenge, and I got video proof. I got video proof of it right here, brother. Good. Let me just loading it up. All right, let's see. So I'm gonna watch this. Want me to like judge you? What's going on here?
I'm.
Let's see what your performance was like.
Well, see, yeah. So I just figured that it can't be that hard. A minute is actually quite a long time. It's easy to whip up cocktails, so I'm proving that anybody can do this, Vino.
So how long? Hey, that's my stick. Don't water my stick down. How long have you been bartending?
20 years now.
Yeah, so 20 years. So you got to get this right. All right.
Yeah,
here we
piece
go,
of cake.
folks.
Piece of cake.
All right. So here we go, folks. Anders Erickson taking on the 60-second cocktail challenge. All right, he's looking good. Whoa, let's pause this real quick. All right, guys, so the first mistake you made, Anders, is you got the bottle caps on all of your bottles. That's going to slow you down, man.
Yeah, in hindsight, yeah, that...
You got to shave off every second that you can. All right, guys, let's keep it going here. All right, so as long as you got the smooth kind of performance, you look good. There we go. A little bit of a stutter on the jigger there, but that's all right. He's got a nice smooth pour. All right, let's keep going. Oh, wait a second. Not only do you have the bottle caps on, now you put them back on?
Yeah.
Dude, it's 60-second cocktails.
Yeah.
All right.
I should have done that.
That's gonna hurt you. But you're looking good. You still got plenty of time on the clock. There's only 3 ingredients, maybe 4 if you count the bitters. All right. Ooh, we got a little bit of a spill there with the maraschino liqueur, but still, you're looking good. The bottle caps are killing me with that. Wait a second. Oh, what a rookie mistake. 20 years in the game, and you're prepping your lemon juice now?
Yeah, and I actually got lemon juice in my eye. So.
Oh my God! I don't know if you guys noticed. I got like this Howard Cosell thing going on. I don't know why. It's just like it's instinctual. It just kind of kicked in doing the play-by-play here. Here he is, Anders Erickson making his own lime juice. All right, so that lemon juice, that's bad, brother. Let's see. Maybe you can get it done fast. Let's see. He's looking good. All right, let's see. He's got 30 seconds. He looks a little nervous. He looks like he's fumbling a little bit. Oh, he couldn't get the right side of the jigger on. Oh, those biceps are pulsing right now, trying to squeeze that lemon juice out. All right, he's got 20 seconds left. Ooh, he's gonna do 2 dashes, 1, 2. Oh, a third one for good luck.
I went with 3. Yeah.
All right, let's see. All right, he's gonna do 1 scoop of ice. He's gonna do 2 scoops. That's 1 scoop's too many when you got 10 seconds on the clock. Oh my God, you got 8 seconds to shake it. You're paying too much time. All right, dude, you're paying way too much attention to the clock. Now I gotta stop this.
Yeah.
You gotta just focus on the cocktail. Focus on the cocktail.
You're right. Yeah, anytime when you start shaking and there's less than 10 seconds left, that's not good.
You've got 5 seconds and you still don't got your glassware out. This is not gonna.
I can do it. All
right, let's see. All right, he's sick. Oh wait, but no. You had a little trouble with the. Oh no, with 2, 1 second. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, he's slipping, sliding. all over the place, and he doesn't do it. Oh man, a sloppy. I don't know what he ended up with there, but that was not a casino cocktail, ladies and gentlemen.
It tasted all right. It was pretty good.
The mighty Anders has struck out.
Yes. I got to tell you, Vino, I guess I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, the only question left is what does this do to his psyche going forward? Oh my God.
Yeah, right. So I made myself another one, and I gave myself 15 minutes to make this one.
That looks a little more true to the cocktail. Oh, man, that was awesome, man. That was super fun, man. Cheers, brother. That was cool. I love that you did that,
Cheers
man.
to you.
Cheers, man.
Yeah.
So that was really funny. I love that. That was great. So I feel redeemed now, actually. I feel like, if anyone thinks my show is just a gimmick, try making a casino in 60 seconds, guys.
And I tried to pick one of the easier ones. You make some more involved ones in 60 seconds.
Yeah, but you know, honestly, like so a lot of people that don't know it, where I came up with that, because I come from the catering business. And so in the catering business, you have to pump cocktails out like super fast, right? Because no one's paying, they just want their drinks and they got to move on to the next thing, right? Because it's an event, it's a 2-hour window where you got to get everything done super fast. So like my waiters, I used to say that my bartenders, like, I want every transaction under a minute. It shouldn't take you under a minute to make a cocktail. And so doing that for all those years, when I decided to do a cocktail YouTube show, I was like, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself to do that shit. It's easy for me to be the beverage director and tell people what to do. So I decided to do it myself. And, but a lot of the shortcuts were like no caps on, prep your juices, stuff like that. So it was fun to finally do it myself and stuff. And I've had my share of failures. I don't always get it.
You pull it off. You pull it off.
It's all in good fun, man. It's all in good fun. Honestly, for me, it's more about the cocktail and the experience. As you know, people they love a good cocktail, but they also like the person behind the camera or front of the camera, really. You know what I mean? So listen, we got ourselves another challenge for you, another 60-second challenge, and that's called the fast.
Drink this cocktail.
Right? If it takes you 60 seconds, you're doing something wrong. All right, Anders. So you have 60 seconds to answer 6 easy questions. So easy. You should be able to get this. Though a lot of guys stumble up, man. It's surprising. I think the pressure it gets to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know Carl didn't quite make it.
Carl didn't do really good. Johan really close.
Yeah, that was close.
Even Steve the barman didn't do too great. He stumbled over. The thing with Steve, he was like running off the set to like go get something to show me. And stuff. Right, yeah. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? But all right, so let's go. Ready? Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
You ready? Took a deep breath. You feel good? All right. Beginning now. Your favorite cocktail?
Today, the artist special. Tomorrow, maybe something else.
Your favorite spirit?
I would say most intriguing to me is rum because it's so diverse.
Oh, I love that answer. Favorite mixer?
Mixer modifier, I would go with sherry, like the drier sherries.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Your favorite hangover food?
I'm gonna say hash browns.
Hash browns. Breakfast? Yeah. Breakfast. Favorite bar?
Is it fair for me to say the last one I worked at, which was?
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I completely believed in what we were doing and great clientele. It's Ward 8. Yeah.
Ward 8. Yeah, Ward 8. I know you say that a lot. All right, last but not least, 15 seconds to go. Your favorite non-cocktail channel?
I've been really liking Van Neistat.
All right, cool. Turn that off. Van Neistat, I know the name. So you did that great 10 seconds on the clock, and you were so cool and calm, like you were on your show. It was fantastic, man.
Yeah, well, it's because I had practiced making a cocktail in 60 seconds.
I know, you already finished. You already,
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's this, two follow-ups. What's the name of that cocktail again, you said? Your favorite cocktail right now?
Oh, the Artist Special.
The Artist Special.
Yeah, which dates back to the 20s. It's kind of a riff on a whiskey sour.
Have you done it? Have you done it on your show?
Yeah, I did it a few weeks ago. Today, I'm gonna make the Artist Special, and this is quite possibly my favorite riff on a whiskey sour.
Maybe I don't remember.
It has sherry in it and a syrup called Grosseia, which is a red currant syrup.
Okay.
But man, when it all comes together, it's just outstanding.
Yeah,
really,
cool.
really good.
That's the one thing about you. I love your cocktails because they're my kind of cocktails. They're like very like spirit forward, and they're like very old school or classic and stuff like that. I just find that stuff to be the most intriguing because like you really get to taste all of the different elements of the cocktail. Nothing gets really masked. That's why I find them so fun to make and to drink.
Yeah.
And they've withstood the test of time, you know?
Yeah, they have, exactly. You know, they're not like some newfangled thing and whatnot. But I mean, not to say there's anything wrong with the new cocktails, but like I do like when a classic cocktail still rocks. It's still delicious. I mean, like think about the old fashioned, right? I mean, it's the oldest cocktail. It's my favorite cocktail.
Yeah, how do you not like an old fashioned?
And then the channel, what's the name of this channel again that you watch?
Van Neistat. He
I know the name. Why do I know
it's
the
great.
name?
Yeah, so his brother is Casey Neistat, which is huge.
But I know. See, I know the last name. I didn't know his brother had a channel. I know Casey.
Yeah. So Van Neistat is just this super creative guy that puts together these great videos, and just the way he tells the stories, like I can watch one after another and just get lost. Cool. Yeah.
That's not too surprising, man. I think, I mean, you know, when you look at your channel, you have a great storytelling ability too. You know what I'm saying? You have a very good way of kind of engaging the audience while you tell your story and making it feel kind of light and easy. You know what I mean? It's not like draconian or you're like, you know, the artist special was made in 1947 by
anyone.
You know, which is, it's out there, bro. There's some of the channels out there like that. You know, you keep it light and keep it fun. One thing I always said about you, like I always said to people, I was like, this guy talks like right to the camera. It feels like he's talking right to you, and there's nobody else, you know, that he's talking to. And I know that's a big appeal of yours, you know. So, look, Anders, tell us a little bit of your background, like where you're from, and you know, like what's your bartending history, like how long you've been bartending. You told us 20 years, but like, tell us a little more about that.
Sure. So, grew up in Northeast Wisconsin, a really small town. Year-round population of about 1,000 people, but it's a big tourist destination.
Really?
So it's
why?
Yeah, it's on the Door Peninsula, which is Door County, Wisconsin, and it's just beautiful shoreline into Lake Michigan.
Oh, cool.
And a bunch of small little villages, and it's just picturesque and quaint, and just nice.
Oh, cool. So did you get into bartending there in this little small town?
So I did. Because it was a tourist town that I grew up in, there was, you know, seasonal work. And so when I turned 14, I actually got a job in the service industry, started bussing tables and, you know, washing dishes. And then when I was 21, I started bartending at a fine dining restaurant, kind of learning wine and things like that. And then a couple years later, I moved down to Chicago and I stuck with the bartending. But yeah, I got my start up there. It wasn't necessarily, you know, classic cocktails. I didn't know what I was doing. But
I don't think anyone starts that way, really. I mean, we always start off making kind of like, you know, your basic gin and tonics, or maybe something even less classy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, but I mean, that's kind of the way you start off. I mean, I think most people start off drinking that way too. Even you know, someone like, you know, like you and I, who like to probably drink a more sophisticated style of a cocktail. Now, we all started off with like making, you know, drinking stuff that everyone else started with, you know, very kind of like your cranberry vodkas and your gin and tonics and your rum and cokes, because they were easy and accessible, and you made them at home with your friends. You know what I mean? And then as you start bartending or just getting older and your palate starts to get more sophisticated, then you start like to really get into the cooler stuff, you know? Yeah. So when you got to Chicago, though, I mean, your world must have really like just opened up, right? Because I mean, this is the second biggest city in the country, third, I don't know what it is at this point, but you know, top three biggest cities in the country, you know, and second oldest, I think.
Yeah. So it was a big culture shift from coming this super small town in Wisconsin, moving to Chicago, and I got a job down inside the Loop, which is downtown Chicago, bartending at an Italian restaurant, which sadly isn't there anymore because of this last year. But they had been there a long time, and it was a big space, pretty busy, and again, it was more wine-centric. But some of the clientele that would come in, they would ask for these classic cocktails, and that kind of like started it.
Cool.
But I took the bartending because I needed work. I needed to pay rent, but I was pursuing acting at the time. I was doing like improv and that sort of thing. So it was supplemental. And it really just started to build. And yeah, I was there for 6 years, 7 years, and then shifted over to a cocktail bar. But it was at that little, you know, Italian place that I really started to find interest in the classic cocktails.
And that's where you cut your teeth, really. You know what I'm saying? Where you kind of really figured it out and stuff like that. That's cool, man. So I actually wanted to touch on your acting. I was going to ask you a little later on, since you've kind of brought it up. Might as well segue into it. You know, one of the anyone that hasn't seen it yet, I'm going to actually put a link to wherever the card is on the screen to your Tales from the Bar video. which that was like, you know, there was a video previously to that you had done with Gabe and Kevin where you could see some of your acting chops, but that video, man, like you were like, holy snap, like this guy's like an actor, like this is what he does. I just knew it immediately because I worked with so many actors, being in hospitality, being in catering. So many of my waiters were actors, you know what I mean? And so I could see, I'm like, this guy, he's an actor. He obviously never talked about it because, you know, he's a cocktail channel. But I'm like, this guy is an actor. I know it. And it was on full display. It was, first of all, the video was hysterical. I mean,
thank you.
My favorite characters were I'm assuming he was supposed to be the hipster, the guy that was like trying to take your notes of your cocktail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm assuming he was the hipster. And then I'm assuming the cougar. Was it supposed to be like a cougar?
The
one that was like, you know, with the thing.
Oh,
with
yeah.
The thing. That,
yeah, with that kind of the creepy.
Dude, I literally laughed out loud, dude. And it's hard. I'm like, I love humor and I'm really funny. So like it's hard to make me laugh out loud. And that shit made me laugh out loud. That was completely unexpected. I should have been waiting for it, you know, like, when's he gonna talk about the cougar? But I didn't, because all the other characters were so like, you were so wanted to see what they were gonna do. And then when you hit it with that 1 second of the cougar, man, that shit was hysterical, bro. But you know, all those characters, they are familiar characters. And I think Doc is the character that I think everyone can absolutely say that guy has been at my bar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that character actually, he was kind of my favorite because he is a conglomerate of so many regulars that I've had. And after that video came out, actually a number of my older regulars had reached out to me. And they're like, oh, that's me, you know, or I don't read that paper. I read, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Doc is like he's like Norm or was it Norman?
Yeah.
Norman, whatever.
On Cheers.
From Cheers and stuff. Yeah. You know, kind of like that guy that he just always seems to be there. He's earliest, he's the last, but he doesn't really bother anybody. You know, he's just there, like you said, with your paper or whatever, reading a book and stuff. That's
and it's great because they expect a little something extra, you know, extra treatment, but at the same time, they treat you with more respect than other customers. So there's a give and take there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, because they also, they feel like they're part of a community there. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know, when they're at this bar all the time, they know the bartender or whatever the case might be. They just feel like it's another place they call home. You know, one thing I remember talking with Johan about this is like, you know, bartenders don't get enough credit for being like a therapist, right? That's what we are ultimately. Like people come to we're like an unbiased voice. You know what I mean? And they come to us and they'll tell you about the good times and the bad times. So ask you an opinion. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they tend to, like, if you got a guy like Doc who just like you feels like you've never steered him wrong, or you've just always been someone that's been like true to kind to him, they just keep coming back to you because they just you build that kind of rapport and stuff, you know. It has a lot to do with, you know, your ability to be a good bartender and a good communicator. You got to be a good communicator if you want to be a good bartender. Makes good drinks. A great bartender makes great conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I would agree with that completely.
There's a real big difference there. Because to me, it's always ultimately about the experience. Because me and you and I can make it old fashioned the same exact way. Exact way. There's a recipe.
Yeah.
But if you give the guy a better interaction, better engagement, he's gonna always come back to you for your old fashioned. Your old fashioned is gonna taste better for some reason.
Yeah, right.
And
that's what gets him to come back. Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about the acting thing. So you did how long did you like pursue that, or are you still something you kind of dabble with and stuff, because all the improv and whatnot?
Not anything I really do anymore, except for, you know, on YouTube every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, do you think you'll do more of those though, man? I mean, those were great, man. That's how you first of all, that's how you go viral with a funny thing like that's how you go viral, bro. Something really cool, funny, and clever like that one.
I would like to do more. I see us doing more of those. I actually was more comfortable being the characters than I am being myself on camera.
How about that? That's an actor. Yeah. That's an actor, man.
Like right now I'm freaking out. But if I could be somebody else, it's a little bit easier.
You're right, though. I mean, I never pursued acting, nothing like that, but I definitely can, you know, I love doing voices. I love kind of being like in characters myself. And it's like, you could block everything out. Like, you know, you're so focused on being that person that you don't think about like being Anders or being, you know what I'm trying to say? And you've got the chops. I can tell you that. I'd love to see more of those videos, and hopefully there will be more of that stuff, you know?
Well, thanks. Thank you.
So your lady is a photographer, right? Because she's I mean she's the one that does.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. I mean she's
incredible.
She's got an amazing eye, man.
Yeah. So before all of this started, both of us kind of our experiences in photography.
Mm-hmm. Okay, both of you. Okay.
But like I'm not saying like we're on the same level. She's much better than I am.
Yeah.
But it was kind of since I gave up acting, which I did it for about 7 years, I'd say.
Okay.
I feel like, everything happens in 7 years for me.
But
I am always needing some sort of creative outlet.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a period there I took up guitar, and photography was one of those things I picked up. And Oz, who does photography, it was something that we could do together as a creative thing before all of this, which now this is the creative thing we do.
Yeah.
But that's what she's just good at photography. Any of that like hand-drawn artwork you see on my videos, like that's all her.
Wow.
Her editing, like we split the editing, so I actually will break it up and pick the takes, you know, and then she cleans it up. So like I will give her what we call like the bones of the
she'll do like the transitions and all that stuff, like make it all
so I'll be like, all right, my part's done here, I think this looks all right, and then she'll just like sit down and and all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, that is way better than I ever would have done. So,
I mean, that's awesome though. You know, it's great to have a partner in this thing, man, especially someone who's talented like she is, you know, and she's super comfortable in front of the camera too. I noticed, man, like she kind of like, you know, you would think she's like been in front of the camera herself. Has she acted and stuff? I mean, because she's like, she gets in front and she's kind of like smiling and like, you know, like joking and stuff, you know?
Yeah. So she's familiar with performing. She, her experience is in music. She got, plays the flute very, very well. But so I guess it's kind of in that creative realm.
So she's performing is something she's comfortable with. She's not.
Yeah. So, I hate to speak on her behalf here, but
I think she's good.
We'll get her on one day. We'll get her on one day.
Yeah.
I don't know if she could do a cocktail in 60 seconds though. I'd be surprised. So
it's harder than you think.
So let's go back actually, because you know, we kind of you talked about your creative space, how you always need a creative space and stuff like that. So that I did want to talk about like the start of your channel, like what kind of spearheaded that. Are you one of the COVID bartenders? Because I know when I first started watching you, you were early on in your sub count. That's why I said this guy's So
the first video was mid-April 2020 that we put up.
Oh wow! So that was like immediately afterwards.
Yeah. So it was right. We had been down for a month at the bar, and kind of to back up a little bit further, for a few years I've been thinking about doing a YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
And but not really sure how. And you know, I actually took a couple, like just at a local school, some like film classes just to kind of get a feel for it and like the editing thing and everything. But I was interested in content creation. Okay. So while the bar was still open, and that was a big part of it because I was always at the bar, I started recording I was going to start my own podcast, and it was just going to be these kind of like tales from the bar. And once a week, I would pick one of our regulars and I'd say, hey, once we close, do you want to have a drink with me? We'll sit down at that table and we'll just chat for like an hour.
That's actually a cool idea.
So, yeah, it was great. We'd have drinks like at 2, 3 in the morning, and we'd chat and we'd kind of tell their story. And I guess we recorded like about 6 of them.
Oh, so you did do them then? So you did do them.
I did do some. I never put them out there.
Never published them?
Because I was still like I was figuring out Adobe Audition. Yeah. And got all this editing stuff is crazy. But that was kind of the plan. And then COVID hit and everything shut down. And it was about, I'd say like a month where it kind of was like, I don't know how long we're going to be down. So let's try to make a video. And the first one I did, Oz wasn't involved. Well, ended up being involved, but the first recording I did, I should have saved it. I was so awkward. I couldn't get through an entire sentence. She just took one look. She's like, all right, let's
I can't even look at my own videos, man. I just, it's like, I'm a super like confident guy. I love being in front. I love being in front of people. Like I'm just not that's never the, it's just like for some reason when that camera came on first couple of times, it's just like your brain is like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, like you forget how to be a human. Like what do I do with my hands? And
except for the gin, you.
I can't. I'm like I tell people all the time. As soon as I monetize, I'm like taking all those videos, taking all those videos and hiding them, and just start, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just not. It's not.
I gotta tell you though,
it's fun to look
like,
back on, but it's like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's proof that like things are improving when you look back at the old ones. You're like, ooh, you know.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, from the get-go, when I've been watching your videos, you seem extremely comfortable. You know.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well.
I think you have nothing to worry about in that respect.
I mean, again, I feel comfortable, but it does. I don't feel like I was projecting that, you know. But then obviously you say I am, so I mean, who knows? But anyway, so you started this channel, and so what did you want the channel to be about? Like when you said to yourself, okay, I'm gonna do this, like, you know, what was the identity that you wanted for it? You know, everybody kind of has their stick that they're trying to put out there.
So a big thing I wanted to do was to kind of teach, you know. In fact, again, before COVID, I was, you know, trying to set things up so I could start doing cocktail classes, like in-person cocktail classes.
Yeah.
And at the bar, which we would do, you know, pre-prohibition or classic cocktails, and a lot of people that would come to the bar, of course, they'd enjoy it, but they'd all want to make it themselves. But there was always this sense of intimidation with cocktails, you know, just like in wine and beer.
Yeah.
And there were a number of people that would come in that they would actually feel defeated even before they try. And I would try to break it down and be like, man, if you want to make a sidecar, like it is so easy. Just, you know, do it, and you can tweak it, and you're the one drinking it. So I wanted to just kind of make it seem less intimidating. And I want people who are not familiar with shaking or stirring a cocktail to feel like, hey, maybe I can give this a shot, you know?
I mean, if there's anything I can say about you is you definitely, you know, make it not intimidating. You know, like you know, you have a very welcoming vibe, man. Like it's like, you know, just from the minute you start, hey, I'm Anders. Hi, I'm Anders.
Welcome back, friends. It's Anders.
Like it's just like, I'm already letting you know this is gonna be a cool little situation. We're just gonna learn how to make a cocktail, you know, and then you get that immediately. And I really think that's registered, man. Like I said, I mean, it's no coincidence, dude, that you're skyrocketing right now. I mean, it's, you know, it's well deserved that you're hitting all the right, you know, notes and stuff like that. So whatever you accept, whatever you projected for yourself, or like you wanted to do, you're definitely obviously getting that across, and probably more, probably even beyond that, right? Because you know, you're I don't know how much of the visual component of it you were considering at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like it was for you, obviously the presentation and the way you presented yourself, and the cocktails was the initial thing, because that's ultimately the most important part. But the visual component of what you do is also just really appealing. You know what I mean? It just looks so good. The clarity and the lighting, and you know, you did like a little behind the scenes photo once on Instagram where you showed like this giant light that you have coming in from your window. And I mean, that natural light, I mean, that stuff is priceless. It's priceless. I know you said it could be a headache. Yeah, I know it could be a headache.
Yeah.
But you know, but like little things like that are what, you know, also kind of add to the whole, you know, experience and the whole package that you guys offer, you know.
Well, appreciate it. Yeah.
How does she feel, by the way, about the way things are going? Like, she even like, holy smokes.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're in this together. It's like the goal here is to just give it our all, and both of us like 100%, you know, this is, the name is Anders Erickson, but this is our channel, and
you don't hide that. I mean, you talk to her and everything, and you bring her on. It never feels like it's you and no one else, and it feels like a not mom and pop shop, but it feels like a two-man team, you know. Good.
Yeah, because it certainly is.
Yeah.
I
mean, I expect her to show up on camera most of the time at this point. You know what I mean? Because it just like if she's not in the front of it, she's at least kind of having a taste of the cocktail and stuff like that. So it's like if she didn't do that, it'd actually be kind of weird. You know, if you didn't talk to her and interact with her, it'd be like, trouble in paradise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's good to know. We'll keep that going, man.
Yes, like, honey, we got to do this just for the camera. We don't want people talking. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, right.
So one of the things you do that I really love is that you take a cocktail and you will do the original version, and then you'll do what's like your improved version or like improved riff, or just, I don't even like to say improved. You just do a version that you think works better for you, or might work better for everyone else, which I think is being respectful of the original recipe. You know what I'm trying to say? Because you're not like, this is better. This is just how I would do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think is great because, you know, it's paying respect to the original creators of the cocktails and stuff. But what about original cocktails? Now you've done some, right? The Lucky Stone is one that I know you've done recently. And, and matter of fact, Georgie from Just Shake and Stir did his riff on your riff. Well, yours not a riff, yours an original, but he did a riff on your original, which is really cool.
Which was great. That was really
Georgie's a great guy. So of your original cocktails, right? I mean, I'm sure you've done a number of them over time. What do you would you say is like your favorite one? The one you've done and you're like, yeah, this is like, you pat yourself on the back because this one's rocking.
So I have a sweet spot for the first original cocktail I came up with, which is called A Semester Abroad. It's rye whiskey based, and it's just very simple. I don't want to give too much away because I might do it on the channel here down the road. But that was a good one. And then
you heard it here first, folks. The semester away cocktail coming soon. Kenny doing it 60 seconds now.
right.
Actually, this one I might be able to because it is so simple. But that one, like I had a chance to play with and do like a barrel aged version of it. You know, let it sit for like 6 months in a barrel.
Nice.
And that was kind of where I first got into like bringing flavors together and making my own thing.
Okay.
And so that's a fun one.
Do you see yourself like at some point making maybe like a little kind of a cocktail book or something like that? I mean, with the photography you guys can do, I mean, and you've got obviously, you know, you can do part of what you do here, like, you know, do some originals with your riff and stuff like that. You know, I imagine it's going to look beautiful. It's going to have some great writing because you also have great writing. That's another thing I failed to mention. You know, the writing that you guys do is also fantastic. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of thought behind that as well. So I could see it a nice printed item.
Yeah, we that's on a list of many things we talk about, like that we would like to kind of venture off in.
All right, folks, you heard it here first again.
Right. Mark it.
Not everyone's gonna hold you to that. Yeah, I mean, no, but there's, I mean, you honestly, I could see it. It'd be such a great like a complement to a compliment to your channel. I mean, you know, that kind of the photography that you guys, you know, with that background you guys have in photography and the way that you again take original cocktails and you also make kind of your own riff on it. I mean, it's a great way to kind of do like publish a book where you kind of have a dual versions of every cocktail or something like that. That'd be
sure.
That'd be pretty cool.
No, I think, yeah, exactly.
A little writing credit won't hurt. Just, you know.
Yeah, right.
So
heard it here.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk a little bit about like about cocktails. Okay, so what is like the first cocktail that you fell in love with that you like, man, like this is Anders cocktail. You know what I mean?
It was when I was working downtown Chicago, and it was the Sidecar.
The Sidecar? Okay,
and,
cool.
There was.
It sounds like a Chicago cocktail, right? Doesn't it? Just
right.
It was one of my regulars at the time. His name was Bob. He would go into bars and order a Sidecar, and based on their Sidecar, he would know whether or not this was going to be a good
bar. Oh wow, cool.
And he kind of had to talk me through it, you know. And I was like reading from an old cocktail book, and now at this bar, we weren't even using fresh citrus. We were using sour mix.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I went out to Portland, Oregon, and I went to this bar. I think it was called Jake's. And it was just kind of old school, you know, and I sat down at the bar and I ordered a Sidecar. And he went over, fresh juice, all this stuff, you know, sugared rim, and gave it to me. And I took one sip and I was just like, that was like a huge paradigm shift. I am like, this is what cocktails can be. And so I sat there and had 3 of them. And I came back, and from then on, I'm like, all right, no, we're going to have fresh lemons behind the bar.
Hey, dude, it changes everything, doesn't it, man?
It does. And I started making Sidecars for everybody. People are like, what's a Sidecar? I'm like, I'm making you one.
You became the
I was
guy,
so
the
excited.
Mr. Sidebar, Mr. Sidecar. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I've said it a number of times in the show. It was the old fashioned. Like I've had other cocktails before that I really liked. I was like, oh, this is my jam, whatever. But I never realized how special a cocktail could be. And I had old fashions before that too that were fine. And I was like,
Yeah.
and like that guy who says like, I know if a place is gonna be any good if they make a good sidecar. For me, the old fashioned, this guy makes it right.
Yeah.
I think that's
It's so simple, you know that but you can mess it up too easily.
right. And I think that's a better gauge. It would be the old fashioned as opposed to a sidecar.
Yeah,
Sidecar is a little like people, you know, you go to whereas an old fashioned, I feel like you don't necessarily have to be a craft cocktail bar to order an old fashioned and they'll know what you're talking about.
But if you go to a place and a guy knows how to make a good sidecar or something like that, you know, you're like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing, right? I mean, it's not an obscure cocktail, but it's not something that I think every bartender knows how to make. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you can ask for sidecar, I mean, you know, obviously you being in Chicago, me being in New York, I mean, it's very likely if you go to a good bar, the guy knows how to make, you know, a lot of these modern classics, whatever you want to call them, you know. But the old fashioned, you can pretty much get that anywhere. And you know, if a guy's using maraschino cherries and stuff like that, you're like, oh yeah, I'm good. You know, they throw the whole slice of orange, they throw the whole orange wedge in there, you're like, yeah, I'm good, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I usually don't even order them at this point from a bar unless I know it's a craft bar or just a really good, like an old man behind the bar. Because I mean, this guy's making these things for a long time.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he knows what he's doing, you know. So it was the sidecar. Is there any other cocktails that like really stuck out for you in your time that you fell in love with?
The Vucare was another one.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before, I think.
Yeah, and that one actually, I almost said is my favorite, but today I'm in a citrusy mood, so I went with the art special. But yeah, that one, the way there's all these components, but they all just work so well together. I really think that's a great drink.
Yeah, I do like it a lot. I don't drink it enough. I definitely don't. I love like most of my spirit forward cocktails. Usually it's an old fashioned, it's a Manhattan, or it's a Rusty Nail. Like those are the three I usually gravitate towards. There's so many great spirit forward cocktails, one two ingredient type cocktails I just absolutely love. So listen, so you've been doing this 20 years, man, and you've been in Chicago, which is one of the coolest cities in the world. What is one of your favorite like drinking stories that you have, like of a customer? I mean, listen, you have a series called Tales from the Bar, so you've got to have a good one.
Yeah.
So what's a good story do you have, like a customer, or maybe just one of your own? You know, it could be funny, it could be sentimental, it could be whatever you want. Just a good story that you always think about, you know.
Well, when you say sentimental, I like the first thing that comes to mind actually didn't take place in Chicago. It actually, this happened to me years ago. It was, I guess, a couple months before I even started bartending. But when I was in college, I took a semester and I studied abroad in Italy. And a group of there were 5 of us guys, and we decided to hop a train and we were in Florence and take it down to Sicily. And so we were on the train, and in the middle of the night, I had no idea that this was going to happen, but once you get down to southern Italy, they actually remove the train from the track and they put it onto a ferry.
What? And then
they take the ferry across to Sicily, to the island, and then while you're on the train, they take it off the ferry and put it back on the track and link everything back up, and you're on your way, and you can go all the way to Palermo.
That's so weird.
It happened in the middle of the night, and all the guys that I was with, they were like off on some other part of the train, and I'm just like alone in this little car with an old Italian, this old man, and I'm kind of about to fall asleep, and all of a sudden the train just starts moving around, and I look out the window, and I'm like, man, what is happening? And I look over at this other guy, and we're in close quarters, and this old man reaches into his bag, and he pulls out 2 paper cups, and he gives one to me, and he sets one in front of himself, and then he just reaches in and opens a bottle of red wine.
No way. Wow,
and
dude.
He spoke 0 English,
wow,
and I spoke 0 Italian, and together we just polished off that bottle of red wine and laughed so hard, and it was just like the most like
what is happening? You know?
I mean, first of all, that can only happen in Europe, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
It can only happen in Europe, and it really goes to show you the power of a good drink, right? Like, you know, the communal component of it, right? Like, you don't even have to speak the same language to be able to sit down and share a glass of wine together or a cocktail together, and somehow that's you're speaking to each other that way. You know what I mean? Like he knew that would be a great way to settle both you guys down, you know, kind of just, you know, spend the rest. Yeah, that's such a cool story, man.
And I think, settle you down was the thing. I think he saw the panic happening.
Yeah, I bet he did. He said,
I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
He said, no, don't worry. I make it nice and wine for you.
Yeah, right. That's great.
That's awesome, man. That's a really cool story, man. I love that. What was it, like his own homemade wine? Can you tell if it was a?
No, yeah, it was just some cheap table wine that he had just kind of.
But I bet you it just tasted so amazing, right? Because the experience was so cool. Like that could have been anything, and it would have been just the coolest thing, man. That's awesome, man. So you obviously, like, you know, you've been in the game 20 years. You've been doing this for a wicked long time, super experienced, and it shows on your show. You know, you're really talented and stuff. What do you consider to be your wheelhouse? Like, what is it that you consider to be like your strength in terms of cocktail making, or the types, like specific spirits or something like that? What is it? What would you consider your strength?
Oh, I guess I would say I'm most comfortable with the classics. You know, and I do like, as you've kind of pointed out, I do kind of like messing with them a little bit just to kind of balance it out for my taste. Yeah. But yeah, I would say the older classics, I do have some experience with tiki. Okay. For the last
you do. Yeah, you do. I've seen
some years we've done, but yeah, more prominently.
So how many recipes do you think? How many recipes would you say you know from the top of your head? Like, even if you got to think a little bit, how many cocktails would you say you know off the top of your head?
Well, when I was like thinking of doing this channel, I wasn't sure how many videos we could make. So I sat down and I started writing cocktails, and I think we got to like 103.
Wow.
And then I was like, I don't, you know, and I looked at that because I remember thinking, well, if we did one a week, like that's 2 years of cocktails, you know?
Wow. So these cocktails,
and there's so many variations on all of them. So
wait. Maybe I'm mishearing you here, but every cocktail that you make is something you know how to make. So far, yeah. Holy smokes, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I'll be the first to admit I look for cocktails, right? I mean, you know, I come from a real strong wine background. You know what I mean? The cocktails were always more a supplement to my wine background. So I'm not best judge for that, but like I can't imagine a lot of guys doing this. Even the real pros in this business, in the niche, are making only stuff that they know. I mean, that's a pretty cool accomplishment to know that all these things you know how to make.
It's I will say, you know, I want to be as accurate as I can with the history of the drink or whatever story. Yeah. So beforehand, you know, I do the diligence of doing the research, and a lot of times I'll learn something about the cocktail that I didn't know. Yeah. And then I will test it before we film. And there have been a couple times I'm like, actually, that's better than the way that I make it. You know?
So like, you know, so you've made a cocktail a certain way for so long, and then you go just to research it, because I know you like to do history about the cocktail, and then you find out, oh, wait a second. Yeah, like this has been made this way for years. Yeah, right. That's cool. That's cool that you at least don't like, you know, you don't have to let your pride get in the way and go like this. Oh yeah, I'm doing it my way, stuff like that. It's kind of cool. I think that's why you do those duels where you do that kind of old version, new version, you know, type of thing, because you know you have the originals, and sometimes they're, you know, maybe a little too strong, or they're not balanced, you know, and so like it's nice to kind of correct it, you know. And like you said, sometimes you find out that your version's not as good.
Yeah, I love when I'm surprised. Like when we did the White Lady, I was convinced I would hate the original, and I thought this is just going to be
that was one that surprised you. That's right. Yeah,
just fun, but no, man, there's so many drinks out there.
The one you just did, the Hemingway one. I mean, his version.
The Death in the Afternoon.
His version. What the? I'm just not a big fan of absinthe as it is, but that's heavy on the absinthe.
I actually, just today I was kind of like thinking about the math of it, and you know, he writes, take 3 to 5 of these, or drink 3 to 5 of these slowly. And one cocktail is 1.5 ounces of absinthe, 4.5 ounces of champagne. So if you were to have 5 of them, you would be putting back 7.5 ounces of absinthe, topped off with an entire bottle of champagne.
Wow.
I'm just like, man, this guy, he was really something.
Isn't it amazing? The guy killed himself. He probably would have lived to be 300 years old, right? Because his body was just so detoxed. Not detoxed, but like he had just drank so much alcohol, it was probably just all cleansed at that point.
Yeah,
There was nothing left in
right.
there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
Just amazing.
So just to get a little uncomfortable now, let's talk about your blind spots. What's a like a category or spirits of cocktails, whatever that you like? I could get better at these. I'd love to learn more about them. You know.
First to come to mind is sake.
Oh wow, that's one I've not heard at all on the show. So
really,
sake, interesting.
Just recently, I went out to a place and you know where they specialize in sake just for dinner and not sake for dinner, but
to go with dinner.
It's not a bad dinner.
They asked, they're like, yeah, can we get you some sake? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, bring me your favorite kind of a thing.
To interrupt you real quickly, your lady is Asian, right? She's like Japanese.
Japanese.
You made prune something or plum?
Yeah,
umeshu.
Huh?
Yeah.
What was it called?
Yeah, it's plum wine.
Plum wine. Yes, I remember that. Okay, cool. So she's half Japanese, you said?
She is. She grew up in southern Japan.
She actually is like from Japan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Until about 15, 16.
And then moved to the States.
Okay.
So,
she has no accent at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? She sounds like she's
growing up, she spoke English.
She spoke it out there. Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, it was, I guess it'd be her second language. Now is certainly her first language. It's English. But yeah, so she grew up in Kagoshima, which is in the south, and their shochu is much bigger than sake. Sake is bigger in the north.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm really pushing to go back there and go to the north and learn something about sake one day.
So she's not too familiar herself then with it, right? Like, I mean.
Yeah, honestly, she's not a very big drinker. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably not the best influence on her.
Yeah, my wife's the same way. So my wife would drink a margarita. Yeah. I finally got her to drink daiquiris. I mean, I think she just likes kind of like those very tropical cocktails like most people do. So trying to get her to break into that. I did want to ask you a question. So, all right. So
yeah, you know,
you obviously, it sounds like you've been to Japan. You know, you live in Chicago. You're from Wisconsin. You've been out to Portland. Any town outside of Chicago that you literally loved the kind of the drinking culture or the bars out there that where you kind of were like, oh man, there's really cool drinks out here, really cool bars and stuff out here. Obviously, New York City is one of those places.
Yeah, if we're talking cocktails, New York City and New Orleans is incredible for those classics. But I love to travel. That's and I wish I could do it more.
Don't we all? Right?
Like I've been to Brazil a couple times because I have a friend
really
from there.
Oh, and you have what? I'm sorry, you have what from there?
A friend who grew up down there.
Brazil, that's nice. I've always wanted to go to Brazil.
Yeah, and they're like going from there to and just anywhere. I will say probably the one that will stand out though is I spent a week in Madrid and I stumbled upon a sherry bar. I can't remember the name of it. I have it written down somewhere that had been there forever. And I didn't really know anything about sherry, but I went there every night I was there. And that's all they served was just ice cold sherry, like fresh sherry. And so that's why I really like working with it now. But like that is, you don't see that here in Chicago.
It's definitely in your, like, your, if you were Batman, it's in your utility belt. I mean, you love, you love your sherry now. It's definitely, it's one of those things. Like, I would love to definitely get to learn a little more. Me, like I always say, Amari is one thing that I just I'm not. I got like the popular Amaris, but this is such a deep, like amount of it. You know what I mean? And it's something that I'm totally weak at. But sherry is the other thing. Sherry is one of those things too that I'd love to know more about. I like sherry. I just don't. I never like fell in love with it. You know what I mean? But I think maybe like you drinking it more, you fell into it. Like, oh my God, this is something I really love. I know. Gabe really loves sherry. Gabe's a big fan of sherry.
That guy's got good taste.
Yeah, he does. He's the guy. He guy's super. He's another one like you. Been doing it for a long time. Super skilled. Yeah. Worked at some great bars. Gabe's a great guy. Really happy for him. He hit 1,000 recently. So he's good for him. So let's talk a little bit about like what does Anders do when he's not bartending, man? Like what's a hobby? Is it photography? Do you like to exercise, travel, bike? What is it that you like to do?
Well, that's a very good question. I feel like this is all I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Well, now I can imagine now. Yeah.
I do. since I've been sitting in front of the computer much more now, I need to get to exercising. I used to exercise more.
Yeah, yeah. Trust me,
But
I know.
yeah,
I got the COVID. I got a COVID belly, brother. It's no fun. And I never had that before, you know.
Same. But honestly, this is going to sound ridiculous, but one thing lately that I've really just enjoyed is playing catch with a frisbee. Like we have this old frisbee, and I'm always bugging Oz. I'm like, let's just go outside and just like start playing frisbee, because I feel like when I do that, like I don't think about anything else.
Listen, there's literally nothing weird about that. So I'm a really big baseball fan. Like it's like I'm a diehard baseball fan, and I could literally play catch for hours.
Yeah,
hours, just throwing the ball back and forth. It, like you said, it's almost cathartic. Like, right? It's like you're not thinking nothing except that ball.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's small talk. Like you have banter, right? And there's no, and it's small talk. It's very light talk. Because you're an emotion, you're doing something. So it's not like you're not talking about bills. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about, hey, where do we go eat today? Or something like that, you know? I get it. It's nothing weird. I honestly, just talking about catching, I'm like, damn, I haven't played catch since before COVID. I gotta get my ball and glove out.
It's so peaceful.
It is, man. Yeah. It is. Do you live near some good parks, or you just kind of do it?
Just walking distance from a decent park.
Cool. Are you plenty of space? So. Are you in Chicago or like a suburb of Chicago?
Nope, in Chicago.
South Chicago, North Chicago. I mean, I know there's because that's the Cubs, right? That's the Cubs.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to baseball for me, just so you know. Nice. Yeah. So did you grow up a baseball fan at all? Like as a sports fan at all?
So sports.
Chicago's got so many great teams.
Chicago does, and when I came down here a year after I moved here, the White Sox
won the series.
I won the World Series.
So. That was exciting. And
that was what was that?
2005, I think.
2005 or 6. 5 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
And the White Sox have won the World Series.
And so I moved down here at the very end of 2003. But growing up in Northeast Wisconsin, like that is
Packers.
It's Packer country. Like it's Green Bay Packers and then all other sports.
I mean, they're probably the most diehard fans, the cheeseheads, whatever, and all sports, man. It's unbelievable. So Anders, let's talk about a little bit about like the future, man. Like, what do you see for the channel? What do you see for the brand? Like, what are you hoping to ultimately accomplish at the end of the day? You know, obviously, you know, you're reaching milestones with YouTube, you know, and there's obviously monetary benefits to all that, but I'm sure that beyond that, like, what is it you want to do? What do you hope to kind of accomplish?
So with the channel, I mean, with the growth that we've seen, I've been, you know, fortunate. I'm really excited. I'm very grateful. And I want to grow that community and continue to like have a space where cocktails aren't intimidating and you know, pretentious, but just kind of open and new people kind of come to the field. But I eventually want to not necessarily break away from the videos. I plan on continuing to make the videos, but you know, other creative ventures, you know, kind of like what we talked about earlier. And now with kind of the way things are, I want to get kind of full time into that. Bartending has been great, but kind of where I am at in my stage of life, like the 3 a.m.
lifestyle. It's tough, man.
It's brutal.
I get it.
So if I can swing it and not have those super late nights, then and still, you know, pay the bills.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to be able to get to a point in YouTube where you're making enough money where you could do what you said, like maybe take a couple of shifts a week or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Where you can have like that supplementary money, obviously plus whatever your lady makes, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where you want to get. I think, you know, listen, the reality is, of course, any one of us would love to be, you know, Greg or Steve, and we could live off YouTube and not have to do anything ever again. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if you look at it from a more practical standpoint, you know, it's like, can I make enough money to kind of peel back my life out behind YouTube, where I can maybe work a little less, and the rest of it being supplemented through YouTube and any other kind of ventures that you may have connected to what you're doing, whether it's like, you know, affiliated stuff, you know, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like that's ultimately the goal, financially. On a creative space, though, I think like you were saying, like, you know, you want to do other stuff creatively because you're not going to be satisfied. I could see this about you. you love doing this stuff and you have fun and you love the interaction in the community. You seem like a very genuinely warm person and you and you really appreciate the response you're getting. But if you're a creative guy, man, and I notice like you're always going to be in that space where you're like, what can I do now? Like, what's next? I want to continue to do stuff fun and exciting. And then you love to see your kind of creations come to life. There's nothing cooler than that, man. Seeing something.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure when you did that Tales from the Bar video and you watched it afterwards, outside of the critiquing part where you were like, oh, I could do this better, you probably still also like that was cool, man. We rocked that.
Yeah, it was, man, and this happens a lot. It was a real roller coaster because we had so much fun shooting that, you know, and we were laughing so hard and put it together. And then when we were about to upload it, there was like this is different than everything we've done. What if everybody hates it, you know? And we're like, one way to find out. So we just like upload it. And then once we started seeing the response, then there was kind of this.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, good. They're with us.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I don't know, risk might be a too strong a word, but it was definitely, you know, departure, you know, I mean, especially because, you know, there was no cocktail even being made in it. It wasn't like you were doing a kind of a skit that went along with a cocktail. You know what I'm trying to say? It was about the characters. It was about the story only.
Yeah.
And so, you know, people could have been like, oh, I'm not learning about a cocktail here. Why am I even watching this? You know, but it wasn't like that, man. You just want to see like this. Oh, this is hysterical. That's super funny. I know that guy. Or you don't even got to be a bartender, honestly, to know the characters. And if you've been at a bar, you've probably seen one of those guys at the bar.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So immediately
they're everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Immediately you could relate. Dude, you could work in a restaurant or a diner and those guys are there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's so relatable that it's like one of those things. Like I said, I feel like that's something that, you know, 6 months from now, all of a sudden you're going to find that you had 100,000 views one day. And you're like, what the hell just happened? And it just goes viral. It just goes viral that quickly because it's that kind of, it's a meme. It's ultimately a meme. You know what I mean? It's a 6-minute meme. 5 minutes? I don't know. About 6 minutes, whatever it is. Yeah, no, but that's what it is, right? Because memes are basically like, memes are just reminding you of the funny things in the world, right? That's what they are. Memes remind you that certain things are funny. And that's what that is. It's reminding you of how funny the community in a bar could be. You know?
Yeah. It was kind of, like I wanted to put that out with not necessarily saying, you know, like these are annoying things customers do or anything like that, but it's like, no, these are actual characters and it's just bizarre and crazy, but you know,
it was cool, like, man. It wasn't offensive.
Here, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't offensive. I don't think anyone, I mean, like you said, you have people like actually contact you like, that was me.
Yeah.
I don't know if the cougar contacted you though. That's probably that one. How many times did that take? I mean, that must have been. I bet you your girl was like, "Oh no, do that again." I think you know, she just wanted to keep seeing you do it.
Yeah, we just had the camera running. I was over there just riffing for a good 5 minutes, and it's just and then she chopped up, you know, like what she liked. But yeah, no, there's plenty of other nonsense with that guy.
You've got to do a cutting room floor version one day. I think.
Yeah, right.
I think people would probably watch it, man. Well, look, man.
So creepy.
Anders, man. Honestly, I don't know. You know, I don't know if there's anything you want to share with your audience and stuff like that. You know, the people that are gonna be watching this. You know, I just know I want to say thanks again for coming on, man. I know that, like I said, you're blowing up fast. I'm sure you're super busy trying to get, you know, just constantly just figure out what to do next. You know, because now you've got to. You know, what they say with success comes responsibility, right? Like now you've got to kind of keep up
there's
that pace that you're at. You know what I mean? You got to kind of continue to make great content, and you know, obviously it comes natural for you, but you're gonna have some your own expectations now because like shit, I can't take a what do you call you can't take a break, or you can't really you can't take the foot off the brake.
Right.
You know, you can take your foot off the gas.
Well,
take your foot off the gas.
I would like to ask you before we go if you would care to join me with a shot of Angostura bitters.
Angostura bitters. Bitters. You gotta say bitters. You gotta say Vino's way. And
bitters.
Bitters. Really?
Yeah.
But bartenders. I thought Fernet Branca was the whole bartender end of the shift.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, this is my end of the shift. No, this is
weird, man.
This is where I grew up in Door County, Wisconsin. It's pretty common to do a shot of Angostura bitters. All right. It all dates back to Prohibition.
There's like a little bit of alcohol in here, no?
Yeah, it's 44.7.
7%.
There's a little
Yeah.
bit in there. So a
Yeah.
shot. So all right, what do we?
Yeah, you've got the smaller bottle, right? It's gonna be
Yeah, I've
about,
got the smaller one. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be like a third of your bottle. But
So, yeah,
tell
if
me,
you got-
tell me if I'm being weak.
how big of a shot glass is that?
I don't even know, bro. It's like a.
That looks pretty big.
Yeah, I think I'll do about half. There you go. I think it's probably the same size.
Yeah,
as
me too.
yours. There we go.
Yeah, I suppose.
Cheers, brother. Thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you, Vino.
Bottoms up, brother.
Cheers.
That's actually really pleasant, man.
Right?
That is
Not bad.
That's really pleasant, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, your side here first.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pleasant. I actually rather do that than a Fernet.
Yeah, me too.
Fernet's not pleasant.
Yeah,
It's pleasant.
this is like Christmas.
Yeah, that is super yummy. It actually, you know what? You're right. It actually reminds me a little bit of Benedictine a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Without-
Yeah, it's
without-
got like heavy clove.
Yeah, except without
kinda
the
cinnamony.
the sweet syrupy thing going on.
Yeah.
Wow, that was awesome. Well, I learned something today, folks. I learned two things today. I learned one that you could take shots of Angostura, and two that Anders can do a casino in 60 seconds.
Yeah. You got me beat there, Vino.
So Anders, listen, let everybody know where they could find you on the interwebs, man.
Okay, yeah. Anders Erickson on YouTube, at Anders Erickson on Instagram, at Anders Erickson _ on Twitter, because Twitter's weird and somebody else has Anders Erickson, and then Anders Erickson Cocktails on Facebook.
Cool. Nothing is sacred, right, brother? But I'm gonna be putting all that stuff anyway in the description, but I figured you just let people know and stuff like that. But Anders, man, listen, thank you so much again for being on the show, brother. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure, and I can't wait to see where else you go, man. Honestly, it's one of those things, like I said, early on, and you can ask anybody in the community. Matter of fact, you could look at probably some old pub crawls where I say, watch this Anders guy.
No,
I got a good eye, brother. I got a good eye for talent. I got a good eye for talent.
I appreciate you, Vino.
I said he's got the it thing, man, and I have no problem telling a fellow, a friend or whatever, that you're doing your thing, man. You're gonna be great. There's no need to, not compliment someone on something they're doing so fantastically. You know what I mean? It's just
I do appreciate it, and you play such an integral role within the YouTube cocktail community that I think
it's incredible.
You, thank you.
Yeah.
I got into this, to have a community. And when COVID happened, and it was just like, I had no community anyway. I couldn't see my friends. I couldn't, it was tough, So for me, it was always about building a community of people. And because when I came in, I saw the bartenders and the channels were kind of on the separate. You know what I mean? So I knew that it didn't have to be that way, right? Because hospitality, man, it's what we're in. We're in hospitality. You know what I'm saying? We're about community. We're about that. So for me, it's always been, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to connect with guys, and if they're receptive, they're receptive. If not, it's all good. Like, it's no sweat. So I'm glad I've been able to be a part of that, bringing the community together and stuff like that. And these pub crawls are, for me, a great way to share that with everyone that's watching. And showing
the concept is great. I love it. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And just showing people, like, these guys are not just making great drinks; they're great people, man. We're a bunch of fun guys, funny guys, charming, talented, great stories. There's so much more. I mean, we can go on for hours. You know what I mean? But we gotta have some time limits here, some restraints.
That's right.
We'll have you back in when you hit 100,000, which is probably gonna be like in a week.
No, I don't know about that.
You'll be there before you know it. Anyway, guys, listen, make sure you go ahead and follow Anders on every single thing. You won't be disappointed. The guy's absolutely fantastic. And you're going to learn some great cocktails. He got some really cool cocktails. And again, his idea of making the originals and his own riffs are super fun to watch. I think you guys will enjoy it. All right, guys? So anyway, folks, remember, when life gives you lemons, you make yourself a cocktail. That's right. Cheers, folks.
See you later.
All right, Doc. Time to go. One more shot before we call it. Nah, we're done. Fair enough. See you tomorrow? I'll see you tomorrow.